Today I'm telling you another wild Italian fairy tale about a dumb prince and some old women who will go to any length to be beautiful, and this illustration's gonna happen in it, so just wait. It's called the Three Crones in this version, sometimes also called the king who would have a beautiful wife. There are three sisters. The youngest one is 67, a number that has forever been ruined for me because I'm a teacher. The next oldest is 75, and the oldest is 94. They live together in a nice house with a nice balcony, and one day the 94-year-old is looking out on the balcony and she sees the hottest man. So she grabs her finest scented handkerchief and tosses it off the balcony and hides, and he catches it, and it smells so intoxicating and is so lovely. He decides this must belong to a beautiful maiden, and then goes to the house he thinks he got it from. Because, if something smells good, it must belong to someone pretty. He knocks on the door, one of the other sisters answers, and he's like, "Does a beautiful young maiden live here?" And they're like, "Yeah, a beautiful young maiden lives here, depending on what you call young." And he's like, "I want to see her." And they're like, "No, the rule of our mansion," because they're rich, it's a nice mansion, is that you can't see anyone before you marry them. The youth is so insane just imagining the girl's beauty that he says, "That's fine, I'll marry her without seeing her." They're like, "Okay." So he goes home to tell his mom. Turns out he's a prince and she's the queen. The mom says, "Son, I think these people might be tricking you. I don't know if this is a good idea," but the prince is like, "No, I have to do it." He goes back the next day and one of the sisters opens it again. He's like, "Are you her grandmother?" And she's like, "Yeah." And he's like, "I know I can't see her, but can I just see her finger?" And she's like, "Hold on a second." So she and the other women make a false finger out of a glove finger and a false fingernail, and then they stick it through the keyhole, and he's totally fooled by it. He kisses the finger and puts a ring onto it, thinking it is the palest, nicest finger, because he's stupid. He's like, "I have to marry her tomorrow." And they're like, "That's cool with us." And so he shows up the next day and they've dressed up the oldest sister. That's the one who, threw the handkerchief. She's the one who's wanted him this whole time, with a veil covering her face. And they go through the marriage with them telling him first, you can't look at her face until you're in the bridal chamber ready to do it on your wedding night. And he agrees to that. They go to the church, get married, and the two sisters make him wait outside while they get her undressed and put her into bed. And then they're like, "Okay, you can come in." Now, when the sisters let him in and then leave, they take the lamps with them and they're like, "You have to sleep with her in the dark. That's our rule." And he's like, "Okay." But he's so eager to see her, he has snuck a candle in his pocket and he lights it and he looks at her and sees that she is old and wrinkled. For an instant, he was paralyzed with fright. Then in a fit of rage, he seized his wife and hurled her through the open window. The old crone went crashing through the trellis, but the hem of her nightgown caught on a broken slat and just left her dangling in the air. So she's just hanging there all night, and then these three fairies happen by, and they see this old woman in a nightgown just hanging there, and they think it's freaking hilarious, and they laugh until they can't laugh anymore. Then one of the fairies says, "All right, we've laughed at her expense, we should give her a gift in return." And the other one's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna make her the most beautiful woman in all the world." The second fairy's like, "I will make sure the most handsome of husbands loves her with all his heart." And the third one says, "I'm gonna make you a noble lady all your life long." So suddenly now she's super hot. The fairies move on, but they totally leave her there, and the prince, who has fallen asleep after his fit of rage, wakes up in the morning and is like, "Oh God, what happened? Was that a dream?" And then when he looks outside and he sees this gorgeous girl hanging there, he's like, "Oh, what did I do?" He pulls her inside and he's like, "I'm so sorry, I thought you were old and ugly, that's why I threw you out the window." And she's like, "I totally forgive you, it's all good now." So presumably they bang, and then they are resting in bed together when there's a knock at the door, and our heroine says, "Oh, that must be my granny." So one of the sisters comes in, and our girl just looks at her and says, "Clementine, get me my coffee." And the sister is just stunned, like cannot believe that that's her sister, but she knows it is. So she tries to hide her amazement, leaves the room, and then decides, I need to get like her. Once the prince finally leaves to go attend whatever business, the sister comes back and she's like, "Girl, what did you do to get so hot?" And instead of telling them about the fairies, she says, "Don't worry, I just had myself planed." This is what planing is. It's when you smooth out wood to make it smoother by scraping at it and destroying the top surface. So the sister says, "Dang, I'm gonna go get myself planed too." So she goes to a carpenter and she says, "Hey, will you plane me?" And the carpenter says, "Oh my goodness, you're already dead wood. If I plane you, you'll go to kingdom come." She's like, don't give it another thought. And he's like, woman, I just said I'm gonna kill you. And she's like, I don't care, here's money. And he's like, well, I like money. So he has her lie down on the workbench, and then he starts to plane her jaw, and she screams. And he says, now, if you scream, we won't get a thing done. So he continues planing her until she screamed no more, for she was as dead can be. Then the author tells us nothing more was ever heard of the third crone, whether she drowned, had her throat slit, died in her bed, or elsewhere. No one knows. But I guess she at least didn't get planed to death. But our bride was the only one left in the house with the young king, and they lived happily ever after. If she was just joking about getting planed and then her sister took it too seriously, I would like her a little more than if she said that on purpose, hoping for her sister to die. I really hope that's not the case, because her sisters helped her pull this off. I mean, until the fairies made it real. But she still gets exactly what she wanted in the end, even though she got it through trickery and dumb luck after having gotten laughed at by fairies, which happens more in folklore than you would think. A lot of times fairies laugh at you and then give you a gift because you made them laugh at how stupid you are. I mean, the planing kind of can be an interesting metaphor, because women will go through lots of transformations and lots of pain to be young and beautiful today. But really, the stupid one is the prince. He gets fooled. But I mean, I guess he gets a hot wife in the end. He gets what he wanted, so maybe he's not that dumb after all.